Okay, so we're just about to start Unit 2, which is Exercise Physiology. And part of Exercise Physiology is Unit 2.1, the structure and function of the ventilatory system. So what I would like you to do, take 30 seconds, pause the video, and write down as much as you already know about the ventilatory system. So what makes up the ventilatory system, for example? What's the function of it? How does that apply to sport, exercise, and health, etc.? So take 30 seconds, pause the video. Okay, diving in. So what is the ventilatory system? That's the first thing. What we need to know is that it's the first stage in transporting oxygen into the body from the air around us. Okay, and we also need to know the structures that make up the ventilatory system. So it's all of the structures involved in getting oxygen from the atmosphere around us into our bodies so we can transport it to the working muscles. Okay, luckily, breathing is an involuntary process. Otherwise, we would struggle when we were asleep because we wouldn't be able to keep breathing, and that would cause some real problems for us. Okay, the ventilatory system is involved in gas exchange, which we'll discuss in more detail later in the unit. But essentially, it's getting oxygen, O2, into the body and getting carbon dioxide, CO2, out of the body. And this takes place in the alveoli, which is the air sacs in the lungs. Now, the lungs and the alveoli are specifically designed to make gas exchange as efficient as possible. First thing is that it has a really large surface area. The other thing is that the alveoli walls are very, very thin, which allows gas exchange to happen really easily. So oxygen into the body and into the bloodstream, and CO2 out of the blood so we can breathe it back out into the atmosphere. Little fun fact for you, if you were to spread out the surface area of the human lungs, it's equal to approximately the size of a tennis court, which is pretty amazing. Okay, first one on the list. 2.1.1. List the principal structures of the ventilatory system. So as you can see here, we have a diagram on the right with lots of lines going to different structures. We also have a list of key words in the box at the bottom. What I'd like you to do, pause the video again and see how many of these that you can label already before looking at the answers on the next slide. Okay, hopefully you've managed to label the diagram as best you can. If you've got some missing, don't worry, we're going to move on to the answers on the next slide. So a really good practice for this is to draw your own diagram of the ventilatory system to practice labeling it. But don't worry, if you're not an artist, what you could also do is take a screen grab of this image, laminate it, and then practice labeling each section. You can then rub it off nice and easily and then practice relabeling it, which is really good practice for your exam prep. So here are the answers. As you can see, starting at the top, part of the ventilatory system does include the nose and the mouth. Okay, and that's really important because that is the passageway into the lungs. Now, this question, 2.1.1, normally appears on multiple choice questions on your exam, so usually paper 1, but it can also appear on paper 2. So it might say label structures A, B, and C on paper 2, or it may, for example, say which of these structures, A, B, C, or D, is the pharynx, and then you need to choose the right option. Okay, so that's everything for now, and I'll see you in the next video.